Welcome all as we congregate to the greatest toy line in community, ever growing, ever changing. As we collect and adapt these figures to our own imaginations and embrace the fun, there's much to learn, especially if you're new to Mythics. Welcome, friends, to another episode of New to Mythics, episode 46, with my friend Bryan Lynn. Welcome, Mr. Lynn. How are you today, sir?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, man?
I am well, man. I am well. I'm well tired, well broke, I don't know. I'm fine. How are you doing?
You sound like you got the life of a collector going on. Tired and
Right?
broke
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Tired and broke. And then future broke, too. I mean,
right. And I guarantee you have no room for everything either, right? That's the
dude,
third one.
it's stressing me out. I'm like trying to I had to enlist my fiance. I'm like, because she's good at Tetrising stuff. I'm like, can you look at my room and tell me like where I can like fit more shelves and more like details or something, or move this? What can I do to? And so we're trying to figure it out, because it's not a big room. It's probably like a 10 by 12. It's real small. And I've got some details and I've got some shelves, but I keep buying stuff and I don't have room for.
Right. Same place, man. Same place. It's just
So here's my first question, man. How come you haven't been on my show, dude? What's
I don't know. We've been wanting to do this for a while, but it's just like, just never got
Well,
around to it till now.
you're the busiest. You're probably the busiest person I know in this community.
Nah. I'll guarantee you there's a lot more busier people than me.
What's funny is that we were on Legion's chat, and you're
Mhm.
like, I have someone for you to, you're like, Schmerber, I got someone for you to interview. And I'm like, oh yeah, who? And you're like, my wife. I'm like, okay. You
Yeah,
got
it's
it
been
done.
fun watching her get out there, seeing her get
That
out
was
there
like
and like,
before Christmas too, wasn't it?
oh yeah.
Before
Yeah,
Legion's Con. And
it was right
yeah,
before Legion's Con, I think.
it's awesome not talk about you, but to talk about her for a second. It's
Mhm.
awesome how much her and like Gina, Terrence's girlfriend Gina, like how much they've really like dove into this community and become their own kind of, persona and personality within this community. And you know,
Right.
it's cool to see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part about this community. I mean, anybody's welcome and anybody can jump into it and find their niche and, get their name out there and do their thing and just, it could be anybody.
Right. Everyone is welcome. That's what I like too.
Oh yeah.
There's no like elitist, like, well, how long have you been collecting in this line? It's not, there may be a-holes like that, but like there's more good-natured, welcoming people than there
Right.
are the elitist types.
Good outweighs the a-holes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have her on the show again. What is she up to besides helping you with your
Uh, right now,
thriving business? What's she up to?
the main thing she's been doing is like the Legion's Ladies Instagram account. She's been having a lot of fun doing that and
Mhm.
trying to figure out different things to do with it and stuff like that. But she's been doing pretty cool, and that was really fun to kind of suggest to her to reach out and see if it'd be possible for her to mess around and try and help out with it or something. And
Yeah,
she's been having a
absolutely.
lot of fun with it. So
Yeah.
it's been kind of cool to watch her teach her how to do Instagram and and I'm still learning that as well after 5 years. I still don't think I got it down right.
I know how you don't really like, until you need it or until you see it as like a business tool or a way to get information or knowledge out there. For a lot of people, it's just like a social, like a way to connect socially, but it could be more than that. You know what I mean? For
Right.
a lot of people, it could be businesses. You see like these influencing people that use Instagram as a money-making tool. So
Right.
why not use it for all its different, all the different
Mhm.
things that it can do? Shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't really know much about it, and then at first, and I kind of just slowly started working my way into using it, and that's just been my main focus. Really, is like I have a Facebook page, but I'm just horrible with it.
Mhm.
So like people will like it, and I'm like, oh, don't do that because it's not, I don't keep up with it. I can't remember the last time I
I don't want to
updated
mess
that
with
thing.
that. Yeah,
Right.
don't pay attention to that, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I think Instagram is a little bit more, it's easier, I
work
think, to
focused.
navigate. And it's one of those that people haven't really shunned away from because you see other um social media apps and stuff that are
Right.
kind of like a fad, and then you don't see them anymore. So it seems like Instagram is kind of, and I've seen like a lot of people use it, like I said, for businesses and stuff, or for companies. I've seen, they have companies, these entities that have their own Instagram. I had one of my dogs. I had an Instagram for my dog. So
Oh
why?
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, here's one of my doggies right now. She come to see what I'm up to. It's always when I'm taping. She's like, "Oh, I need attention. Let me get over here and get some scratches."
Right. It's like he's talking to somebody. I gotta go be in there.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So let's start. Let's officially do the classic. What did you collect kind of thing? So when you were a youngster, what was your toys of preference? Were the ones that you remember? And
Oh,
would
I was a huge '80s brat, so
me too,
like
man.
I was born in '79, so I was like, I feel like I was just that right period going through
Yeah,
the '80s for all the great stuff. Like
yeah.
He-Man was my main. GI Joe was a close second. I had like Transformers and Thundercats and all that stuff growing up, but like He-Man was my main thing. I had so
Did
much of that stuff.
did you have like an older brother that kind of ushered you into? No,
No, I'm an only.
are you really?
Yeah, I was a
You don't
spoiled
seem
brat,
like
so
an only. You don't seem like an only to me, man. Usually those onlys are rotten. I had my best friend was an only, and he's a terrible person. He's my boy, but he's awful.
well, I'm an only child, but I've kind of adopted brothers along the way.
Right on,
So
right on. So your parents were always kind of, giving when it came to, toys and stuff like that. Like they,
yeah, most part, I had a lot of really cool stuff like growing
mhm,
up and have some fun Christmases and things like that.
mhm. Yeah. I think Masters of the Universe. I think that's probably the most popular answer when it comes to like our age, like things that kind of stuck with us or favorite. Because a lot of people still collect like Masters of the Universe. You see like, Colin and a lot of these people that have like um, Facebook pages that are still,
Right. The whole Lucky Legends is pretty much like a big
right. Yeah,
like
that's what I
Motu
was thinking
community.
of. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was huge. What was the other? You said Transformers and GI
Uh,
Joe.
yeah, GI Joe was a close second. I had a bunch of those and like a bunch of vehicles and stuff like that. And I had friends that would come over, we'd play GI Joes and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
Transformers I had some, but I wasn't super like hardcore into Transformers.
Hmm.
It was always like stuff like He-Man and then like Thundercats came out and I was really into that too.
I
Even though the
love
figures
that.
weren't like super great back in the day, looking at them now, but back in the day they were so cool and
Yeah, I mean they
all
were
the little features.
yeah. The light up thing was cool, like with their eyes and stuff. That the eyes
Right.
lit up, but their articulation was kind of basic. Which
I think it only had like 5 points, right? But it was like a
yeah,
6-inch figure. It was like really
yeah,
weird.
yeah. I still have I have a Lion-O from the old, but I loved that figure. It was a great figure at the time. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
That scale
unfortunately I
is
don't
not
have.
really. I'm gonna say that scale is not really a normal like the Centurions
Yeah, they
um,
were close to it.
were like a bigger size, like a 7 inch, six
Yeah,
inch, 6.5, almost 7 inch figure, and sectars, those bug
right,
guys that they were kind of like a bigger. So I don't know if they were trying to figure out like should we do bigger size? Should we do like the smaller 1/18th scale?
right. The bad part is I don't have anything from my childhood. My mom gave all of that away and stuff, and it's just like,
My grandma did too. Yeah, my grandma had a big yard sale. I'm like, that's cold, man. Do
I
you
mean, at least she
harbor
got
any
money
kind
out
of
of it. Mine like went to like a charity. I'm like, oh,
even
damn.
worse?
Right.
I want to be the guy that like rolled up on my grandma and bought like all my toys for,
Right.
$5 or something. There's Millennium Falcon in there, and superpowers figures, and all these spaceships, X-wings and crap. It's like, man, I, I'm never that lucky. It's like,
Right.
gee.
Like, it had so many He-Man things, and I miss my He-Man stuff. That was one thing I always wanted to keep, and like, so my kids could have it, even though they wouldn't give a
Yeah,
shit about it. But I wanted to pass it on, kind of thing. And it
Zane's not
sucked.
interested in that type.
He growing up, like that's the thing I always like. It's like, yeah, there's some old stuff, but look at this '80s stuff. It's so much cooler, kind of thing. Like, we always
So
watch
cool.
'80s movies, cartoons, and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
so, I mean, they're versed in a little bit of '80s stuff, but they don't, unless you experience it sitting in front of the TV on a Saturday morning eating your Cheerios and just, lost in
exactly.
it with your toys. It's
I
not
know.
the
I
same.
was I was watching heavy metal. I don't know if you ever
Oh yeah,
watched
it's been a
the
while, but yeah.
animated. And my girlfriend walks by and she's like, "What is this?" And right then, like a girl,
Of course,
and I was
that's
like, this is my '80s. This is, I would stay up late, when my parents went to bed, and put on HBO and watch heavy metal. But it's just like it's if you didn't live it, it's like you miss some of the magic. You know what I mean? Like, if you
right.
weren't there, it's like some of it is still cool for people don't that didn't grow up in that. But
Mhm.
if you were there, then it's like, damn, man, this is
Oh yeah,
this is fire. You know,
I
Flash
would give
Gordon.
anything just to have that, like, just have like a week of, like, just take me back to like '85, '87, just for a week. Just experience all of it all over again. That'd be so cool.
The
Take
music and the movies, the toys,
Oh yeah. Just the
man.
whole atmosphere. Going to a store and there actually being stuff on a shelf, that was
That's funny
crazy.
you said that. I was talking about that with Curtis the other day. I was like, it's so weird, like, as a kid. I mean, I didn't have a lot, but I remember going with my friend. He was an only child, that the evil kid that I would go with his parents would take us to Toys R Us, and they'd be like telling him, get whatever you want. And I would just be like, whoa. But like,
Right.
I just remember walls of like,
Oh yeah.
like this whole wall would be Star Wars, or this whole wall would be GI Joe. And it was like
Right.
everything. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, one box. It wasn't like one each of, Snake Eyes.
Right.
It was freaking all,
It's like
and
whatever you wanted to go to the store and grab, it was there at all times. You
it
could
was
just
there.
it was
It was
great.
there. Yeah, I don't understand why it's not like that anymore. I don't understand that.
Mm.
It's beyond my.
Kids don't have the imagination anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah,
At
I
all.
think, and that's something that we were talking about. It's like our kids these days, maybe like your kids, their kids, like, are they going to collect toys? Are they going to be into like NECA figures and, like, you know what I mean, Black
Right.
Series and Mythics? It's like, are they going to be into that stuff? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
is it going to survive past us, like action figures and stuff like that, or do you think it might be a dying?
I think it just depends on the parent, really. I mean, for example, my oldest Brandon, he came up, he got a bunch of wrestling figures, and he always had toys. And he was like right before all the video games and internet
Mhm.
and tablet crap. So it's like right now in his room, he's got bookshelves of Black Series, and he collects stuff
Sweet.
still. And Zane, he's not completely out of collecting. He still does his video games and stuff, but he has shelves. He has like cosmics that you've gifted him. He has some pops and some different
Mhm.
stuff, some Dragon Ball figures that he has stood up on his shelves and stuff. So he's a collector as well. So I mean, if you get them into it, it's kind of the same way. I think, like, depending on how well they collect, it might get carried over to their kid as well, just
Mhm.
depending. But
Yeah,
like, if you're a kid and you don't come up with like a collector parent, or your parent
there's
played with
no
toys,
reason.
but right,
Yeah, you're not gonna
they
be
won't
like,
carry it
oh, I got
over.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
It's like,
mean,
I think what it is too is like, for us growing up, like, say the new Ice Cube album came out, like it was a big deal. So like I would
Mhm.
go to in California, it was called Warehouse Records. So I would go to Warehouse Records and buy the cassette. And so I had the cassette, like or the new, I don't know, a new comic book, or a
Right.
new novel came out, or a or a Blu-ray. Like I would be excited for Tuesdays because that would be when the new, Blu-rays would come out. So I would go to Best Buy and pick up this new Blu-ray, and I had it. So I think for us, it's like what we can hold. It means
Hmm.
something, like the tangible. And I think nowadays younger generations, it's like they don't give a shit about that. Like they don't care
Right.
about having the disc. It was a big deal. I was like, I have the limited edition steel cased Blu-ray
Right.
special edition of, of Heat with the best sound and the best, you know what I mean? But now it's like I think younger people, it's like they don't really care about the
Right.
physical part. So it's like, would they care about action figures? Probably not. Like
Mhm.
like imagination and stuff. Like I think a lot of the toys that we had like was kind of fueled by our imagination.
Mhm.
It's like we would grab an action figure and take it with us to our friend's house, or like take it to our mom with our mom when we went to the dentist. And now kids
Right.
take their tablets or their phones. So it's a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, kids nowadays, they don't have to make up their world like we did. We like they just turn on a thing and right there's a world for them to get lost in for a while, or run around and shoot at each other or whatever they got to do. Like when we
Exactly.
were kids, we had to make our world. We had to go outside and find another world to be in, or
Yeah, like a stick, was a
oh yeah,
sword and
like
adventure, man.
like I was talking to some friends the other night. It's like we were talking about when we were kids and stuff. It's like, do you guys ever just play with boxes as kids? Like seriously, you get
Oh
like a
yeah,
giant box as a kid, and it's like you have to your parents have to wrestle that away from you to throw it in the trash because it's
absolutely, dude. Yeah,
right
because
like
like it's kind of like how people in Mythics will, like customizers, they see parts. They don't see
hmm
the figures, they see the parts. So like when we were kids, it's like anything could be like a gun, or that
oh yeah
boss could be in fort, or
oh yeah
that tire could be something that we could climb into, or that there
hmm
was something, we could do things with, our minds were thinking like what would be a cool plaything here, like I
right
could make a fort out of that,
I was telling Joe Suter, I was like, yeah, I had a refrigerator box and it was like my time machine space.
Yes,
I drew stuff inside. It looked like
yeah,
a full
I
on
did that
like
too.
there were so many
Yeah,
things. Like a box was probably like the best gift ever back in the day because
absolutely.
you just turn it into whatever you want and that's what it was. It was great.
Yeah, and that was just fun, just that imagination.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what made me think of it, but the other day I was thinking, like I had toys. I'm not saying I didn't, but like I would get like two paper plates and like staple them or glue them together and cut a
Mhm.
little hole on the top, and it was a flying saucer. Like
Right.
that was a spaceship that I made that was,
Oh yeah.
free for me, It was just like, but in my mind, it was something cool. You know what I
hmm
mean? I'm sure people were looking at me like, why is that fat kid walking around with a paper plate? There's no food. What is he doing? But it was like in my mind, it was like this was like a cool spaceship. I could draw on it, I could color it or whatever. And it was something cool, you know what I mean? Like me and my friend would make paper
Right.
airplanes and like draw on the paper airplane, and it was became like a MiG fighter, or like a, an F-14 or something.
Right.
It
Everybody
was
around
just,
you is like, "What the hell's this kid doing?" You're just like, "War of the Worlds is going on in your head," and they have no clue.
yeah, you're
It's
like,
like,
you're having adventures and stuff. Me and my neighbor friend, we would do like all kinds of, like, he had his parents had a cool garage, and there was like, I remember he had like these car seats that he'd taken out of the car, and like we had laid them like on their back, and then we like sat in them and pretended we were like in a spaceship, you know what I mean? So we would have like a stick, and we would like be looking up at the ceiling. We probably look like idiots, you know what I mean? Like, what are these dumb kids doing? But we're like laying on our backs, sitting in these chairs, and we had like joysticks. We were like flying and having like the best freaking time, dude.
right. I mean, I don't know. That's the worst part about now. It's just like there's no imagination.
Mm-mm.
Like kids lost that part.
Yep,
It's
I
just
agree,
sad.
man. I agree. That's something that I really like about Mythics. Not to bring it back, but to bring it back. But
Yeah,
I think Mythics, it's got that fantasy where it's like, yeah, you can be into the lore or you cannot. It could be like a cool, like I have
right.
friends that oh, it's got to be in this faction. Like I have to have it all here, but it's like I don't care. It's like if this figure is cool, then I'll have it over here with this guy or this or
Hmm.
whatever. It doesn't matter because it's all like it kind of just fuels my imagination. It doesn't have
Right.
any set rules, which I think is cool.
And that's the best thing about this line too, is like the fact that it kind of takes you back to when you were just playing with your box. There's infinite possibilities of things that could be made, used, done with this line.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the best part about it, is that you can seriously come up with anything to expand your universe within this awesome line that they gave us.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that makes me think about you and like how much you've really like seized on on making the figures more. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you want to build things that can further or enrich these figures, by dioramas or by, whatever that you're making. It's like you're expanding upon something, but you're using your imagination. And I think that's pretty cool. I think you're probably the most um prolific when it comes to that I've seen that comes to building stuff for this line. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
In my opinion. I,
Yeah, I
I
appreciate that. I,
yeah.
I'm really awkward with compliments, so just ignore me.
No,
I'm
that's
like
fine.
I'm
That's fine.
horrible. So
So let's kind of go. So how did you first hear about Mythics? Like what was your kind of introduction to the toy line?
so uh, back when I used to watch a dude named Josh Pence, and he would talk about them and stuff like that, and he would have some of them here and there. And I was always interested in them, but at that time I was collecting like figure art Dragon Ball pretty heavy, and I had
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat from Storm, and I had different things. I was kind of like all over the place and had Marvel Legends and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? They're really cool, but I don't need another line. So no, I'm not gonna do this.
Everyone says that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I got
it's
enough. Because I mean, we have the things that we love, and so it's like I don't
right.
have enough money, I don't have enough room, I don't need to add more. And
Mhm.
so what was it that pushed you over that edge to
Stacy, it's her fault. Like I was doing good.
what?
I was doing super good. I was like really proud of myself. I wasn't caving. I was doing good. And then we
You're
went to this toy
strong.
show. We went to a toy show right before COVID hit, and Josh was there, and he was buying Mythics, and then Stacy just wandered over and started to Roma's booth, who Aaron, the owner, just passed away. So that was really, I don't know if you've had
Hmm,
a chance to
sorry
meet
about
him. He
that.
was a great dude.
I don't think so.
Um, so that's a kind of a another reason why it kind of sucks, because without him we probably wouldn't be still be in the Mythics at this point, because he was our first person
Yeah,
that we bought some from.
yeah.
But yeah, so she just wandered over and she started looking at Azza, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I kind
Oh,
of want this." I'm like,
my
"But,
favorite, man.
but, ah, okay, cool." So I got her that, and then that's all we got that day. Really,
So
I don't
you
think I got
guys,
anything else.
she talked you into Azza, so you picked it up for her.
Yeah, so she got Azza, and then we got home and she put it all together, and I was looking at it, I was like, cool. So I got on Big Bad and I ordered Chrono, and that was my first one.
I love
So
Chronal. Like
yeah.
I was kind of late to the Chronal love. I don't know what it was. Like I as a kid, I loved Trapjaw. Like Trapjaw was just one of my favorite figures. And I don't know why. Like I saw Chronal and I was like, that's pretty cool. But
Hmm.
like I don't then like a Thunderbolt hit me. I'm like, wait, that's Trapjaw. I'm like, why don't I own this? So now I have like three. So
All right.
I love that
Yeah.
figure. So you got Chronal and then you like checked it out. Where'd you get Big Bag Toy Store? You said.
Yeah. And so one thing that really drew me to him was the fact that you could just take him outside and take some pictures and make it look cool.
Mhm.
You didn't have to have, dioramas and stuff at that point, which I was making, but it's like, I don't have any of my own stuff to mess with. So like we just went outside and I started taking pictures with like a Marvel Legends Wendigo, and that kind of got me more into it and stuff like that. And
Mm.
it's just it was I started collecting them, and it's all her
Yeah,
fault.
I think, yeah, right. It's always the woman's fault. It's her fault.
Right. I
Um,
was doing good. It's not my fault.
I think that I mean it depends on the figure, I guess, but like a lot of the mythics, they can go with other stuff so well.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
like mythics can be adjacent themselves to other lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, a knight you can buy a Sir Owain or a Silver Knight or a
Mhm.
Templar, and that could go with a bunch of other different types of figures.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thing. Is like I think I had picked up a Dark Templar, and because I wasn't really 100%. Like I liked, somebody gave me a Malleus. My friend gave me a Malleus, and I liked it, but I wasn't like fully on board. And I remember I didn't know everything. I didn't know all the figures yet. So I kind of, and I went to MuskyCon, which
Hmm.
I hope to see you there.
Oh,
And
definitely will be.
and I was like, I saw the I think it was Travis. He had the my wife is gonna kill me. But like he had like just a huge pegboard thing. Like I think he
Hmm.
still has that setup. But
Oh
I
yeah.
was just like, holy crap! Like I didn't know like there was so many different, and like now, like I didn't know what I was looking at, but I was like, there was Gwendolyn, there was Templars, there was like so many. Like I was just like in my wallet's like, nope, nope,
Yeah.
no, no. So I think I bought like a white Templar, and I think I bought a dark Templar, and trying to think what I think that was all I left with, and I had bought an unknown one from um, the Horsemen. Yeah, Jim and
Right.
Cornboy were there, so I bought the unknown one, and that was it, dude. When I got home, it was on, dude. I was just blown away. That
See,
was when I was like, okay, you have my attention.
right. That same toy show that we went to, kind of off the same kind of story there. It's like she was looking at him, I started looking at him, and I was sitting there looking at this one dude, and I was like, this guy looks really cool, but his head is kind of weird with this weird smirk on it. But he's only $60. Nah, I don't need it. He looks weird. I don't want it. If he had a different head, I'd go for it. Not knowing anything. So I passed up Delta Guard for $60.
Oh,
Right. So that's one I will not have
yeah,
because I didn't know anything at the time that he had a helmet.
right.
It's like,
I know, like everyone has their jumping on point where it's like, you don't realize what the value is at the time,
mhm,
when you start to become a fan. I'm trying
right.
to think, like I remember I bought the female barbarian, was I think my third or fourth, probably my fourth figure, and that was my first female figure, I think. And my friend Gavin Willard, who owns Tardy's in Grand Rapids, he sold it to me, and it was like $100, and I was just like, oh man. But like it was like a thunderbolt. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh man, I really want this figure. And I was like, how much? And he's like 100. And I was like, 100? Man. I'm like, am I gonna be in this line this hard? $100 for a 6-inch figure? Yes, I am. Yes, I
Yep.
am.
Yeah.
It's, you just gotta find that one figure that really, but man, I fell down that rabbit hole, dude.
Oh yeah. It's just the possibilities, with them. It took me a while to actually get to start like messing with them
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, this is the first line I owned where it's like, Dragon Ball, there's nothing to do with those. I mean, there's things you could do with them, but I had no interest in that. And all the other stuff didn't have like the pop and swap ability like these things did. And it
Mm-hmm.
took me a while to get to that. Like Chris James, like, was pretty much there when I started. And
Mm-hmm.
like he's like, yeah, you should try painting one. I was like, hell no, these things cost like $40.
Right.
I ain't doing
I'm not
that.
doing that.
I ain't gonna like do something like that. And especially if it has eyes, they're gonna come out looking like, "Ugh,
Right,
I'm not
right,
gonna
right.
do that." So it's like it took me a long time and a lot of pressure from him to finally start messing around with it. And I'm like, once you start like getting creative in any way, shape, or form with these figures, it ramps it up like 100
Yeah.
times for you.
Well, it opens up like a whole new world. But it's like, oh my God, like, the things that
Mhm.
you can do. I'm just now, like, I know I'm late to the thing, but pop and swap is so much fun, dude. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
love it, man. Like, I'll look at, like, I had some legs and I was looking at them and I'm like, what could I build with that? Like, what could I, and you build something and
Hmm.
you're like, nah, that's not good. So you take it apart and you try something, and then you're like, I've got a whole new figure. Like, I just
Right.
built this whole new, that's a blast, dude. But the painting I tried and I sucked at it. I'm not really
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I say this with everything. Somebody's got to start somewhere, you know. So I
right.
mean, the more you do it, the more you get better at it. And, it's just
Yeah,
a process. You just got to have that patience to kind of keep pushing at it and messing around, and
yeah.
you know. And the best part about this community is if you having trouble, there's not a shortage of great people here to be
That
like, hey,
that is 100% true, dude. Yeah, that
you
is.
know,
There's so many amazing, kind, and generous people that are more than happy to help you.
right,
And whatever level you are of learning, they're there for you.
right.
So what was your first? Do you remember what your first painted figure was, or what you decided to tackle?
Well, I printed off some heads and I was messing around with those, and it took me a while to actually paint a figure.
Hmm.
So like my first figure I painted on was a dwarf legion builder from the reinforcements wave.
Hmm.
I had a 3D printed head. I painted it. It looked decent. So I was like, all right, I'll just, paint the lines, the rivets and stuff like that. I'm not gonna do like crazy, but like, so if I need to get this off of here, I can try and wash it off a little easy. And it turned out pretty good. I was really proud of it,
Hmm.
and I kind of, okay, it wasn't so bad. So maybe I can keep going and mess around some other stuff here and there. And it's a process, I'm still learning. So I mean, we'll
It's got to
see.
be like, I think it's like when you create something that's like new to you, it's like
Hmm.
you go and you buy it. Like, I had bought a few heads from Curtis, that first show that I went to. He had some printed night heads, and I I just thought it was cool that you could like make a kind of a basic figure. You could turn it into something that's yours, that's more, what I mean, more personality. If you want him to have blonde hair,
Right.
if you want him to have black hair, you want it to be a female, you want it to be a goblin, or whatever, you can do that. Like, I think that it's cool that it's like the mythics, like, you can do so much, you can change their whole bodies into whatever you want.
Right.
Just that level of customizing is unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's great that they're so open and willing to encourage people to do that as well. Like that's the best part about this company is like they even go like half the time when they reveal figures, like look at all these parts and pieces as well. Is like this character is awesome, but look at all these parts for
Right.
possibility and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. It's like I said, once you start the creative process with this line, it just takes it to a whole nother level for you.
Mhm. Yeah, and now, like, I'll buy extras of something. So,
Right.
like, I got an extra, like, Ghost of Christmas Past, or I got an extra of the Egyptian gods, just because their
Hmm.
bodies, or I got an extra Gaspar, just because he's got like this great, like, male body that you can do so much. It's almost like a basic, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's just a basic human figure, but like, you can make, so many different things with that.
Yeah, and then they give you so much stuff in the box with it to make it several
Give you
different
a
ways over if you wanted to.
ton of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
So
awesome.
when did you start to like think like, I could do something with this? Like, when did you start to think, maybe I could start? So you said you were building dioramas before you
Oh
were
yeah,
even into mythics. So you've been.
I was probably doing dios for about a year, and mainly I was doing stuff for like I do alleyways for like legends and stuff like that, and
Mm,
a lot of times it was just terrain stuff. That's the main thing I do is like terrains, and I was doing stuff like that for like figure art, Dragon Ball stuff. So I was trying to like kind of match things like that, but still kind of keep it open so people could use it wherever they wanted to.
mm-hmm.
And That's what I was doing when I was really when I first got into the cabal, was doing that. And then it took me a while to really interact in the cabal because I was kind of overwhelmed by like all the artists and stuff, and I was like, I don't belong here, kind of thing.
Right, kind of like a imposter
Yeah,
syndrome thing, like
right. These people are all like doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm just like, hang a mountain. I'm like, I don't know if this would be accepted here or not. So it's like, I was kind of intimidated.
yeah.
So it took me a while to get with it.
So was there a few people that kind of like mentored you a little bit or gave you some advice
What,
or
for
anyone
dios
that
in
you
general?
looked at? Yeah, like anyone you're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool how they did that," or you
Honestly,
just got
it
better
all
on.
I kind of fell into it. Like, I got into collecting because of Josh, and I was watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. And then I got into his Facebook group, and I started seeing people putting like pictures of a figure in an alleyway. And I was like,
Mhm,
what the hell is that? That's crazy. That's some cool Photoshop stuff, It's like,
mhm.
that's neat. It looks like it's life size. And then I started finding out that this is actually a thing. I'm like, oh, I wonder how hard this is to do. So I looked up on YouTube. I'm like, how to make a brick wall. If I can't make a brick wall, there's no point in trying to go farther than that,
Wow, just
It's
stop right there.
right. So I went to Home Depot and I got a thing of like one of those 2 foot by 2 foot pieces, and I cut it up and I made brick walls. And I was like, okay, this isn't too bad, I mean, just followed the video and tried it my own way. And so it's like, just I kind of took everything I learned from that and I just incorporated it different ways.
Mhm.
And that's all it was. And I don't really try to watch anybody's stuff or like any other diorama people, because I don't want to like accidentally do something that somebody's already done.
Yeah, I get that, and I think when you tap into your imagination, what you create is more pure. I just meant,
Right.
was there people that kind of like helped you or gave you any advice when it came to it?
Not
But
really.
you're
It
you're
was trial and
naturally
error.
talented, dude. You're a natural talent, man. I wanted to show people, and I think I've already talked about it. I think I even showed it on Stacy's, but like my introduction to you was this amazing diorama that you did. And let me see if I can access it here. Let me see here. So this is your Carver Customs Instagram.
Mhm.
But I saw it. There it is, right there. There it is, baby. I don't know if this is the actual one, but it's very similar to the one that I bought from you. But
That's the third head dio I've done so far, just because it's been
okay,
pretty successful so far. And like, going back to what I said, I don't really watch other people's stuff because I don't want to copy something. I've
yeah.
actually seen multiple people use the giant foam head, so I was like, okay, so it's not somebody's actual thing. So I went ahead and tried it too, because I know like Noah Pratt's done one, and I think there's been a couple other people.
I hadn't seen it, so like when you showcased this, and I don't know what it was that you had it on, but dude, it blew me away. I was like, this is freaking amazing. Like I don't know a lot about dioramas, and I don't know a lot about, like, the different types that there are and stuff,
Yeah.
but when I saw that, dude, like I'm like, I've never seen anything like this, and I'm like, I really want that. And I was lucky. I think you brought one to ZoloCon. No, not
Ishkan.
ZoloCon. IshCon. Yeah, you brought one to
Yeah.
IshCon, and you still had it left, and you're like, you can take it home if you want. And I'm like, we worked out a deal. I'm like, yes,
Hmm.
yes, please. And I love it because I like I said, I've never seen anything like that. I think that foam head, kind of like that lost wasteland kind of,
Hmm.
you know, and that maybe that evokes something in me, like the imagination, like
Right.
you're in this world, and the things of the architecture, the buildings or the statues from long ago have all crumbled into, and that's kind of the world that these characters are living in. And it just, I don't know, it just fed my imagination. I'm like, this is the coolest damn diorama I've ever seen, man. I gotta have that. So
Appreciate
I
it.
just wanted to show that off. But so when did you start to say, like, you know what? Let's try this as a business here.
I mean, it's kind of funny because um, it's it goes back to like the 2010. I got hurt at work and my back was like jacked up, and like between 2010 and 2019 when I actually started making stuff, I went through like a lot of mental stuff. Like I was really all over the place,
Hmm.
and I really thought I didn't have anything to offer anybody, and I thought I was worthless. So
I totally
like,
get that, dude. I totally get that. I think a lot of us
yeah,
have kind of, you know, had that kind of demon on our back where it's like you know, because it's like the way the social structure is like if you're not making this much money, then are you a failure? You know what I mean? If you're
right,
not, you know, if you don't have this car by this time and this house and
yeah,
this, you know, then what are you really? You know what I mean? And I don't
yeah,
think that's not a
it,
good measurement, I think, of being successful.
right. And it was like that for 9 years of just me hating myself. And
Hmm.
then I kind of, like I said, I made a brick wall, and then I made a diorama. It wasn't great, and I posted it in Josh's group, and like people were like, "That's awesome," kind of stuff. And then one guy's like, "How much to make one of those?" I was like, "Wait, seriously? Yeah. How much would you charge me to?" I was like, "I don't know, $100." Just I didn't think I was even gonna fly. He's like, "Okay, cool. How long will it take you?" I was like, "I don't know. I'll get started on it tomorrow." It took me about a week to do, and I was like, "Holy shit! I just made money on this."
Yeah, by
So like,
your own skill and your own imagination, you built something and you sold it for what you asked for it. That's pretty freaking amazing.
I it's just like I said, that's me falling into something, and then I didn't really do a lot business wise like that. I made some other dios, and then like Josh's birthday was coming up, and at that point I'm really grateful to be because like I said, I didn't want to leave the house. Like I hated everything,
Hmm. You're
and
just in a
before I
dark
knew it,
place.
yeah, and before I knew it, like I was actually out hunting in stores for Marvel Legends and stuff, and it was all because of this dude and watching his channel, and it just got me motivated to do something outside of where my mind was, and it helped me so much. So like my his birthday was coming up, and I made like a small castle dio because at that point he was started really getting into mythics and stuff. It was just like a single like figure kind of like stand, and I sent it to him for his birthday, and actually Big Dub was there
Hmm.
when he opened it, and like he started putting it over big time, and like my Instagram started picking up like I had like a couple hundred followers added like in that time period.
Just
And
like
it was
that.
just, yeah. And then people were like, "Hey man, how much to do this? How much of that?" And I honestly, when he opened that, I was balling because like I finally had something. That was my thing that I offer people now. That was I was it was crazy. It meant the world to me that I finally
Yeah.
had something.
It's got
So
to
it's
be
like,
gratifying, you know, like there's something that you're good at. You found something that like people like look up to you and like seek you out. Like, you know, that's
yeah,
got to be like,
it's definitely like completely weird to like that's another reason why I'm really awkward when people, "Oh, you do great work," and stuff like that. And it's because I keep remembering the part where you're down on yourself the whole time, but like you're better than where you were and
right.
everything. But it's like it's hard to break that mentality. So
I mean,
that's
it shows that you're a good person, that you're humble.
yeah,
But you know, dude, Bryan, you've got fans. You've got fans, dude. That's for real. Own that, man. Like your what you make, your ability is, you know, it's awesome. It's
thanks.
great work, dude. And I'm not trying to embarrass you or nothing, but I'm impressed. Like I don't know anything from anything, but I always enjoy the stuff that you create. And I
I
noticed
appreciate it.
like it's like, you know, you started with dioramas, right? And then you kind
Mhm.
of have branched out like you're doing your charbot, you know, your char like and you
Yeah,
started to do like torches and staffs.
yeah.
Can you kind of
Torches.
talk about that kind of so what was the process you were doing
The
dioramas, so then like you're like what else can I do, like can you walk me through like that process?
Honestly, the torches came about because me and Chris James got to be really close friends to the point where like he'd come up and he'd stay like a weekend and hang out, and we go to some toy shops around Ohio. And then like one night, like at 3 a.m., we're like, "Let's go outside and take some mythic pictures and stuff." So we
Mhm.
went outside and we take some cool pictures and stuff. And I was like, "I have an idea for a picture, but I don't know how to do it." and he had like the cool like what are they lume cube lights and stuff, and he was trying to light up like the a Friday the 13th campfire to make it look like it was glowing for me
Yeah.
for a picture idea I had, and it looked cool, but it just wasn't what I wanted for it. So the next night we went back out, and I took the campfire and I kind of rigged the LED into it and ran a little battery and made it work, and it looked like a flickering like fire, and I this is really cool, and the picture turned out great, and I actually got one printed out, and I'm gonna frame it and hang it on my wall too, because that's kind of like milestone kind of thing for
Hell
me.
yeah, dude. You should.
And and it's after that we was talking. I was like, dude, I wonder if I could do this like with other things. Now that I got a printer, see if I can actually kind of work with some stuff and see if there's any way. Because like I can't do the difficult like sculpting software, so it was like tricky to figure out how I can pull that off. But then I was like, I'm gonna try and make a hand torch and see if I can make that work in some way.
Mhm.
And it just kind of trial and error and messing around with it, and it just kind of worked out, and it just
So
something else I kind of fell into.
it's not 3D printed, it's like handmade.
Oh no, all the torches are 3D printed.
They are
I mean,
3D printed.
yeah, like they're all 3D printed, but like there's a lot of like I gotta wire it and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and soldering and burning myself, and it's a process. If you're in the Friday night chats and I'm working on torches, you probably heard me say a lot of four-letter words because I burn myself a lot of the time.
Well, that's how a lot of the time I got to know you a little bit was because I would be driving. I worked overnight. Well, I worked late nights, and I would drive. I think I would get off at like 11 or 11:30, and hop on the chat, and I would be on there for 2 hours just listening to you guys, talk toys or talk building, and you were always building stuff, and I just thought that
Mhm.
was cool. It was like this guy is always working. Every time I see him, he's working, he's building, he's creating stuff. Kind of
It's
pushing yourself to make new things, and
yeah, I mean, that's what I tell a lot of people. It's like probably 90% of the stuff I've done is just throwing shit against the wall and see what sticks.
mhm,
I mean, you know, I didn't know if hand torches were going to catch on, if people would even think it was cool, or if they'd think, "Oh, that's stupid."
mhm,
It's just a thing you try out and see how it goes. And a lot of it's also just shooting your shot. You send something to somebody, if it works out, they put you over. It helps out a lot. Getting your name out there in different ways to different
right.
people and stuff like that. And it's just like I said, Josh helped me with that in the beginning. Big Dubs helped me with that. The WWE wrestler Ethan Page helped me out big time with that. Um, Robo and The Amazing now, and it's
Yeah, that's awesome. I just saw that Robo, is checking out your stuff, and Trevor's got, some shots. And
yeah,
that blows my mind. Like Trevor put, your torches in some of his shots. Like is it Tigra or Vampirella that's
Tigra is on the
yeah,
box. Yeah, that's
dude.
it's it's kind of funny when I started doing stuff. I was like, I started selling dioramas and it's working out good. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give myself this little stupid goal. I want to have a something I made in every state. You know, I had no chance in hell I'm gonna ever do that. So I give myself little weird goals like that. And right now I'm at like 6 states left on that little weird goal.
Wow.
And then that turned into it'd be cool if I had something in a different country. Well,
Mhm.
somebody in Canada ordered one. I was like, that doesn't count. It's Canada. They're like, who
I mean,
cares? I want something like cool. So then I got something in New Zealand.
you got something in New Zealand? Really?
Yeah. So I
Oh,
mean now I'm up to 13
wow, dude.
countries and it's like never expected that.
Yeah.
It's really weird when like you're just sitting here just making crap out of foam in your living room, pissing your wife off because you got like foam everywhere. And somebody in like Austria reaches out to you or France and something like that. And it's just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
That's
but
awesome
it's
though. It's cool that everything kind of worked out, like in that you're the need to maybe create manifested something that people like, or you pick the right few things that you could make well, and people, you're in the right community to kind of further it and make it
right.
into something, you know what I mean? Like all the things kind of, and I'm not saying it was an easy process. I'm not
Oh
trying to
no.
shortchange or make it seem trivial, but like it's cool that all these things kind of worked. And
Yeah.
now, like you said, you have things in different countries and all the states, and you have fans, you have people that, are hitting you up like, hey, can you do this, or I need this, or you
It's
it's just it's a cool thing. Like I'm looking at this
yeah.
picture of Stacy with this amazing, where's that table at, of like all these. Is this now, did you take all these to Legion's Con?
Um yeah, like so I think that was when she was doing inventory for this year's.
Oh, okay.
And that wasn't even all of them completed yet. That she was just trying to figure out what we had printed and what we had to finish still at that point. But like, yeah, she's pretty much my like she's the secretary. She's the one that's like telling me what all I need to finish and stuff because I have a goal of what I
Yeah,
want to do, but I don't know where I'm at on it half the time.
yeah.
So that's her thing.
So does she kind of help you stay organized and stay?
Oh yeah. She's handling like all the business stuff because like this is my first year actually business like,
Yeah,
so I'm like keeping track of receipts and everything like that. And she's been on that and all the traveling miles and all this other stuff. So she's awesome. And then I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that I'm doing. I wouldn't be able to do any of the things I'm doing without her help or her support because she's like the best. And if I didn't say that, I'd have to hear about it. So
absolutely. She's just the best. But I mean, what an achievement, dude. Look at that. Like you're on the box. You're
yeah,
on the
that's like
box. That's
that's
freaking
that's one of those things I never even thought about. That's like I had my goals, but then like Trevor put torches in the it's kind of funny. Like I was talking to Chris James, I was like, dude, Trevor just ordered torches. He's like, hell yeah. I was like, that's crazy. That's kind of crazy, right?
it's
Yeah.
kind of surreal, right? It's kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
You
And that's
know,
before I really knew anybody. That's before like Legion's Con 22, before like,
yeah.
and then like he got them and they were destroyed. I was like, "Son of a-" So like he reached out to me real quick. So I was
I
like, oh
remember
crap. So
that. I remember hearing about that.
I hurried up and sent my box out the same day and it got there. And just in time, that's the Headless Horseman picture.
That's
It came out
insane.
like a month before Legion's Con that year. And it was like, holy shit, that's something I never even thought about, Like
Yeah,
that's a cool like milestone that I didn't even picture before.
right.
So it's like, I mean, I know there's other people that made dioramas and stuff in those pictures, but like going back to before I started doing this stuff and where I was mentally, like I told Trevor, I was like, I'm going to tell you sorry every chance I mean, tell you thank you every chance I get because it means the world to me that you use these things like this.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I understand that it's not the main event in that picture, but to me, it's like that's like everything to me. Every time he uses one, I'm like, this is awesome.
I mean,
It's
it's
like
your calling
great.
card. It's you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I
is that a
mean,
Carver Custom? That's a Carver Customs torch right there. You know?
it's kind of fun watching the shows and I bring up pictures like, oh, look, there's Crowder Customs torch right there. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's
Yeah. I
weird.
mean, yeah. That's awesome, and I love that he's generous enough to put somebody's thing in his in his pictures and give you that credit, and that
Right.
that helped you, and it kind of gives it can build your business and help other people see, like, where'd you get that cool torch? Hey, I got it at Carver Custom. Bryan Lynn made this for me.
Right.
And with the word spreads, and now you're
I mean, that's been majority of my career. I don't know if you want to call it that, but it's been 100% word of mouth. That's how I've been. Because I mean, one person watches somebody's channel who's cool with them, and a guy in New Zealand watches that channel that's cool with him, and hey, why don't you, and just that and the other, and hey, this guy, the wrestler dude had like tens of thousands of people following him when he posted like showing off all his stuff, and he does these
yeah.
little figure photography things when he was doing it there, and
So are you
so
able to keep up with orders that come in and stuff? Are you able to?
it changed a lot. When I first started, I was doing um like kind of commission only,
Mhm.
and then it's fun to do that, but at some point it gets to the point where it's it's not as fun to make everybody something. It's fun to make what you want and just put it out there,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So it's like the dioramas I was making for Dragon Ball is just pretty much like it was nothing really hard. I was just kind of making my shapes and making my terrains and different styles, and I just post them. And I'd put like 20 of them up, and they'd be gone in like 5 minutes because like word of mouth kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing monthly sales like that there for a while, and then I kind of just got away from doing that, and I just wanted to start kind of just messing around, and now I'm mostly focused towards Legion stuff, and like I want to start doing more dioramas and building the world more. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they give us this line and this world that's so fun to make stuff in, but I just want to build more and make more of the world. I want to add to the world on the outside of just the cool lore and characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I look forward to, whatever you come up with next. I know for the cosmic, world you've done the Charbot. Let's see if I can show people off the chart or chart. Is it char 17? Is that what
R71.
you char
Yep.
71? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Let's see here.
that one's probably to me the most important thing I've ever made, just because of what it's a tribute for.
Char 71. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and like 2020, my uncle, who was like a huge influence growing up,
Mm-hmm.
he passed away from cancer. And
Oh, sorry, man.
like
Cancer,
growing up,
son of a bitch.
yeah, yeah, I can't stand this shit. It sucks losing people to
Yeah.
something like that and watching it happen like that. But like growing up, he was the most creative person in my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
he could draw stuff, he could make woodworking things, he did all kinds of stuff, and he was always like, he didn't have kids, so I was the closest thing he had to a son. So he
Mm-hmm.
would always hang out with me. He'd made my pine wood derby cars and stuff like that. He couldn't fix anything. He could do it all.
Yeah.
So like when it came time to like I wanted to make the spot that didn't have a name, I was like, I wanted to find a way to work Char into it because growing up his name's Charlie. And I never called him Charlie, he was always Char.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I need to figure out how I can work this. And then it's like I was trying to find what is it, anagrams where it's like each letter
Yeah.
stood for something, and I just nothing sounded good. And then I had one friend that's like, why don't you just do it like Star Wars and make it Char dash and a number?
Mm-hmm.
That could work. And he used to drag race, and he drag raced a 1971 Ford Maverick, and he was undefeated when he did it.
Wow.
So that's the 71. So and the whole idea behind it is, being who he was and how he was. Um,
That's all right, man. No, that's all right, dude. I totally get it, man. You know that I love that you named it after him, and it kind of gives him a legacy and keeps him around in his memory. Um, and it's a fun thing, dude. This robot that is customizable. I just think that's so damn cool, man.
yeah, I mean, like I said, he could do anything, so I wanted to make it the same way. He was the awesome companion and sidekick and buddy and my hero.
Yeah,
So he could do it all. So can his bot. And you can do whatever you want with it and have fun with it and incorporate it into your collection, and all your cosmic parts will work with it and all its parts will work with your cosmic parts. So
that's awesome, dude. That's so damn cool.
yeah.
I would love for like the horsemen to be like, Bryan, in the
That'd be
future,
awesome.
you probably have heard this before, but Jim or Eric could be like, hey, your Char 71 is so damn cool. Can we put one in this future, figure that we've got coming out? It could be like his little robot assistant or bodyguard or something. Dude, that
Yes,
would
in a
be
heartbeat. I wouldn't have a problem with it, and I don't even know if I'd want money for it because it'd just be to
hey,
get him out to the people more.
yeah, yeah.
And
Just
it's
more
just
people.
and just keeping Charlie around.
Yes,
That's the main thing.
absolutely. Absolutely. No, I love that, man. I appreciate you, talking about it. I know it's tough, man. It's hard losing people to cancer, man. I've had friends and family members. I watched my grandpa basically just waste away from
Yeah,
cancer. So it's just, It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah,
It's
it's
tough. But no, that's cool, man. That's cool that you named it after him. I love that, dude. And they're
but
freaking
something.
cool, man.
Thanks, dude.
So you're gonna have you're gonna premiere. Did I said that the other day too, and I was hoping I was right. You're gonna premiere a new arm
At Mesquite-Con,
at
Pete
Muskie.
McCarthy, he came up to me at Legion's Con. He bought a couple, and he's like, "Hey, I have an idea. Would you be willing to do an exclusive for Mesquite-Con?" I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And he's like, "All right, cool. We'll talk about it and everything and stuff like that." And I was like, "All right, cool, no problem." So we went home, and as soon as I got home, I made an arm, and I sent him a message on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, dude, check this out." And well, he didn't really see it because his Facebook gets bogged down. There's so many messages and stuff. So it was kind of funny on one of the episodes of My Wife. He's like talking and everything, and I mentioned it, and he actually looked at it then, and finally got to see it. And it's kind of cool seeing the reaction live, like on the episode at the same time.
Mhm.
So he was good for it, and I made it all in one kind of rescue arm because he's a fire chief. So I kind of
Yeah,
incorporated everything I could find
that's a great idea,
fire tool related for it.
dude. You got
So
all these great ideas, man. You're an idea guy.
I'm trying.
Got
I,
these
I
ideas.
I wish I can do half the ideas I have because I have like another 40 ideas for lights
I was gonna
and
say
torches.
I could see you like you. I feel like you're always, you know what I mean. You're always thinking like this like the success that you had so far. You're not resting on it. Like you're. It just fuels your imagination and your will to like keep creating.
Right. I mean, when I first started making stuff, I came into it with the attitude was like, okay, this isn't gonna last, so let's just do it as much as we can. See what I can do as long as I can do it.
Mm,
And like over the years, it's evolved different ways. I went from diodes to torches and now staffs and the charbots. So it's like constantly trying to find ways to keep them relevant, but at the same time bring out something different, new that, maybe somebody's already done, but I could do it differently, or maybe something that nobody's done you know, that could be incorporated a whole nother way that I didn't even
right,
think about. That's like Curtis. He got a charbot and he took one of the arms and put it into a custom. And I'm like, wait, what the hell? I didn't even think about that. I had worried about plugging all the cosmic stuff into the bot to make it compatible with them. I didn't even think about it the other way around. And
right.
that just,
Reversing it so that
yeah,
the
totally blew
chart.
my mind. And I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that the whole time until he showed me a picture of that. And I was like, oh, dumbass. Just, you know? So
That's
it's
what's
like
cool about
crazy.
this community. You know, it's got to trip out the horsemen when they see people just create the craziest shit from like something that
Right.
they figured. They're like, whoa, we never thought about that. That's pretty amazing. I think
Yeah.
they get a kick out of it too.
Mhm. It's
But yeah.
it's it's a fun process. I'm always coming up with ideas and stuff. Like on the way home from Legion's Con each year so far, me and Stacy have brainstormed Charbot parts, which I'll have Wave 2 to show off at Mesquite Con.
Mhm.
Um, and they'll be available for like a limited pre-order shortly after.
Okay.
So yeah, it's always a lot of times it's just me like, hey Stacy, what do you think of this? Or but get out your phone and make a note and let's start brainstorming stuff kind of thing. Or,
It's got to be fun though.
oh yeah.
It's got to be
It's
better to talk about creating stuff than talk about bills or talk about boring, mundane. Let's talk
right.
about creating something. Let's talk about the future of what Carver Customs can be and what we can, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been kind of crazy, dude. Like just doing all this stuff and how it's gone and how fortunate enough I've been for having the right people at the right time.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't know. Everybody says I'm always super humble, but I'm humble because I don't expect it to last. So I'm humble because I remember where I was before I started doing this
Right.
stuff, and I could always be that again.
Yeah.
So I'm super appreciative for the opportunities that people give me for
Yeah.
buying my stuff or, you know,
And I
stuff
think
like
that
that.
helps. I think, yes, you're creative and you make amazing things, but also you're a good dude. If you're a jerk, then you know,
Right. I
people
mean,
might be
we've got
like,
enough of
yeah, I don't really like that guy. I don't really want to buy his stuff, but you know,
right. I mean, you either stay humble or you see yourself progress long enough to start calling yourself the king of doing stuff. And it's just
yeah,
you don't want to be one of those guys.
yeah. Well, I noticed a minute ago that you said, you know, you wanted to do something. You didn't say do it better than other people. You just said do something different or do something, you know, to the best of your ability, basically, you know, and I think
Right.
that that says something good about you, is that you're not trying to go out there and be better than everyone else at what you're doing, but you know, you want to be original and you want to be an innovator, you know, not a follower. You want to
Right.
be the one that creates stuff and is always on the cutting edge and of you know what you're doing.
It has a lot to do with the community as well. It's like I don't know, this community's so damn great. Like I want to find ways to do different things to improve people's experiences
Hmm.
in the community as well as like what they can buy from me. You know, I want them to get up if they get something from me. I want them to be like, okay, this has made my whole display a whole lot different. You know, this is it did this to my display. It made it better this way, or I can't believe it. I could have done this the whole long time ago if I would just tried this or something. You know, even if it's just, hey, how do you do that? I'll tell people every time, like, just try it like this and see how it works for you. You know, and make it your own. It's like
Yeah,
I mean, that's the one thing is like anybody that's ever reached out to me about doing anything creative is just like don't the hardest part as an artist is not to compare because I mean don't try to paint something like me or some of the other Dio people or any of the customizers. Don't try and do exactly what they do because there's no fun in doing stuff the exact same way.
right, right.
Everybody's got their own style, so
Be
just
yourself.
you know take what you learn from them, but make it your own in your own way. You know and just
I
have
think
fun
you
with it.
when you do that, it feeds your own creativity. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I think you're onto something good. You start creating stuff, and you have a good reception, and it makes you want to keep creating. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
see, okay, this is working. This is good. People like this. I want to make something better, that I make something better of, you know, or improve my own designs, or push it to more boundaries. And you
Hmm.
know, instead of torches, let's make, you know, pyres, or fires, or you know, staffs that glow. And you know, like
Right.
you're constantly pushing yourself and trying to make things better and improving and being creative. And I think that that is a huge part of this community, is like people that are lifting each other up, being creative.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, this person's got a dio. Hey, can I put your, you know, your torch in my dio? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you know, it's like that type of building up, I think, is awesome in this community.
Yeah. That's the main thing. Is like I've I've never expected somebody to ever say, "Hey, you've inspired me to do something." You know, that's something I never get used to hearing,
Mhm.
and it's really humbling to have somebody tell you that. But it's also great to be like, "Hey, you know, you don't need to buy something from me. You can do this. You can make this style. I know you can." I
Mhm.
tell that to Nick all the time. Nick makes diodes. He wants to buy one from me. I was like, dude, you don't need me. You can do
He's
this.
a
I'll
good
help you
dude.
if you need.
I
Yeah,
like
Nick's a
that guy.
great dude. I'll have a couple of his customs at MesquiteCon to show off as well. I'm gonna
Nice.
bring some other people's stuff. That's something I'm going to try to do at every show I do. Is I'm gonna have something from somebody else.
I like that. That's a good idea, man. Yeah, he did a night, and I liked it. I can't remember. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember looking at it. I'm like, that's pretty tight, man.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna make a couple of those and send them to me to take with me.
Nice.
And
Nice.
Big John Moore,
Yeah.
I'm he's the first person that's actually designed a new part for the bot too, for the Charbot.
Nice.
We've I met him through David Williams, and we got to be real good friends. And like I've kind of showed him how I do stuff, and he's took it and done stuff with it so
Mhm.
far. And so it's like he's got something coming out. I don't know if he showed it yet, so I don't know if I really want to say it, but it's
Yeah.
actually it's even going to be Charbot compatible. It's going to have some
Nice.
ports in it, so you can plug some arms into it,
That's
and
cool,
it's
man.
so it's kind of fun to kind of work with people and stuff.
Yeah,
I've never had something that I can actually kind of do that with. So now it's
yeah.
kind of I'll have some of those at MesquiteCon to mess with, and for available and stuff like that. So
So when are you going to actually reveal your, the arm? Have you actually shown it yet, or are you going to actually
yeah,
show it at the show, or are you going to reveal it before, or
it's on my Instagram right now. It's
is it?
yeah,
Let me see.
yeah, Pete already showed it on the show, and I was like,
Okay,
so do
I
you want me to
have
go
not
ahead and
seen it.
start?
I have
Yeah, it
not.
shouldn't be too far down. I think the first picture says like Carver Customs and MesquiteCon or something like that on it. But yeah, that's where it'll just be available only at MesquiteCons from now on, like this year and any year going forward if he wants to keep having me back.
I see this one, but I don't see. Let me see here. Let me try. Can you see it on the screen?
Mm-mm.
You can't see it.
Nope. I just see you.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to. Okay, so I see the arm. Let me see. Oh, I'm not sharing it. God damn it. That's why. I'm sorry. Okay. Is that it right there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm no Curtis, man. I can't I'm not good at doing the different that's cool, man. I love that. Yeah, so you got like the axe in there, you've got the looks like a
Pry
fire
bar.
extinguisher or the man, that is cool, dude.
Yeah, I try to incorporate the big. I'm not even sure what it's called. It's like a giant like crowbar pry bar thing. I
Yeah,
try to incorporate that with the point and the little
that's
hook on the
freaking
top of it.
genius, dude. Now how do you go on like a ZBrush or something and
No,
create that?
I'm too stupid for that stuff. I use like it's like a basic program where it's like you put together shapes, and I'm pretty much playing with like building blocks and just putting stuff together and deleting little pieces, parts here and there.
How long so to design that arm, how long did that take you?
It didn't take me very long. It probably took me about a day. And
Yeah.
that's stretching it probably.
Wow. That's freaking cool, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So people that are interested in your stuff, so here's your Instagram. So how can they do you have like a Etsy? Do you have like a store? And
Nope,
why the
just
hell not, dude?
Instagram. I started looking into doing a website because I have stuff sitting here that I could be selling right now.
It
But
can be selling while you're asleep, dude.
I am horrible with technology. Fun fact, I cuss at computers constantly.
My
So
fiance is
like
like that. She is
uh,
so like that, dude. She does
I
not
hate
speak that
computers.
language.
Uh, I cannot do computers. So it's like I started messing with it, and I don't know, it's something I definitely want to get going at some point
Mhm.
in some fashion. I'm not sure how yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had a couple ideas that I've kicked around with John and David and some other people.
Yeah. I mean, look
But
at like Shopify or something. I'm sure
oh yeah,
there's these websites. I think even the Horsemen use Shopify.
right.
And you just plug in the things. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying you should look into something like that. That way, you could wake up and be like, hey, I got sales from New Zealand or Australia. I got who knows. Uh,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, dude. And I wish all the success to you, man. I think you and Stacy and your kids, you guys are some awesome people. And I always enjoy seeing you on Legion's chat when I can make it, or when I'm not getting pulled over for,
Right. Or ordering food.
yeah, or ordering food for my girlfriend or whatever. But I always appreciate you seeing you, and I think you're a super talent. I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I'm impressed by you, man, and I think you're an awesome dude. And
Thanks, dude.
I'm
I
honored for
appreciate it.
you to be on my show. I do got to wrap it up. I got to work early tomorrow, man. I got to be up at 5:30, and I'm
Oh
I'm
man.
dragging, man. I'm dragging. But I look forward to the stuff that you are creating. I One of the things I love so much about this community is seeing creativity, and I think I
Oh yeah.
really try to focus on that on this show. Is that, I love the line, but like seeing what people do with the line is so interesting. Like the customizing studio and all the little businesses and the things that people create. The head sculpts, the dioramas,
Right.
the pieces, Wolf King Custom and all the things that they create. It's like, like Bryan C. Have you seen Bryan C stuff? Like
Oh, he does crazy stuff. All
it's
the
it's
crabs and everything was
yeah,
nuts.
it's
Yeah.
insane. It's insane.
Mhm.
But like
Dirk's
just
another one.
Dirk,
He's
yeah,
a
just the things that people like people pushing the envelope. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like your torches that have different colors. It's just cool stuff, man. And I love seeing that. So I'm all for, seeing people push the boundaries and be creative, and you're a perfect example of someone that has made it and is, out there, and people get to enjoy your stuff. And so what you're going to be at MuskyCon? You're going to be where else? Zolo or Ish
Just
or
just MuskyCon and Legions Con this year, but I'm working on something.
okay.
So
Okay.
hopefully it might not be this year like I wanted it to be, but there's going to be as Curtis called it, a CarverCon coming up some point.
You let me know. Oh yeah, you throwing that out there, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
I'll be there.
I
I
got
got
a
stuff to
venue.
sell too. I'll
It
take a
looks
table. I'll buy a table, man. I'll be there.
it's going to be fun. The way
You're
I'm
in
putting pick, I got a bunch of ideas.
okay.
So
You let me know, man. Let me know what I can do. You're in Ohio, right?
definitely, yep, it'll be Columbus, Ohio, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, let me know, man. I'm down. I'll be there.
Awesome, dude.
I'll be there. All right, man. Well, you have a good night, dude. Tell Stacy I said hi. And
Definitely.
I will see you soon. Hopefully, Allegiance chat. You'll be on. I'll be on. Hopefully, I'll be
Mhm.
awake. I have a hard time, man. I crash out.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not a night owl anymore. I used to be, but I
yeah.
gotta I gotta check my eyelids for holes, man. I get tired.
Hey, it's better to go to sleep than like fall asleep and have the screenshots pop up the next day.
Oh man,
Mhm.
I go to sleep and I don't realize I'm asleep. Like my eyes would be
Right.
closed and I wake up and my girlfriend's looking at me. I'm like, what? I've been watching. I've been watching TV, or my eyes are on the road. I'm not asleep while I'm driving. I promise, I'm good. But
Ah,
anyways, all right, my man. Thank you so
all right,
much, dude, and I look forward to seeing you in person again. And you're always
definitely, man.
welcome on here if you've got stuff that you want to show off, new stuff that you're proud of. Just hit me up, dude.
All
I'm
right, cool.
more than happy to have you on. I don't have a whole crap ton of viewers, but people watch. I guess people watch. So and if not, it's just me and you. We'll just talk, dude.
Right,
Show off your stuff.
hang out and talk to friends.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, my
All right,
man. When you come back, I want to talk about this last Legions Con. I wanted to talk to you about it, but we're already hour and 20 into it, just talking stuff.
yeah,
But I'd
definitely.
love to have you back soon, and we'll talk about our Legions Con experience from Legions Con 24, and
Oh yeah,
what might happen in Legions Con 25. Who knows? Who
yep.
knows? Yeah. All right,
It's
my
gonna be
friend.
fun.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you later. Thank you. Remember, friends, to always have fun, be curious, share, and enjoy what this line has to offer. Come for the toys, but stay for the friends. Good night, and thank you very much.